One of the biggest concerns people have is they don't want to appear egotistical or narcissistic in their brand.
Because building a personal brand is not as simple as it seems. And sometimes there's a fine line really between being egotistical or feeling egotistical and actually being helpful and building trust and confidence.
Welcome to Be Bold Branding, where we discuss the power of differentiating yourself through your own unique story and standout personal brand.
One of the biggest concerns people have when coming into our program is they don't want to appear egotistical or narcissistic in their brand. Imagine that. Right?
Imagine that.
It means a lot to them to be viewed as helpful and very serious about their profession because that's how they want other people to see them. But they don't really know how to build a brand that doesn't make them seem self-serving.
Yeah, that's because building a personal brand is not as simple as it seems. And sometimes there's a fine line really between being egotistical or feeling egotistical and actually being helpful and building trust and confidence in your clients and your prospects. And this was something that I was worried about when I first started working with Tanya. I hired her back when she had a full service marketing company. I didn't even know anything about branding. And when she came to me and said, "Hey, I want you to put your face on everything. We're going to really put you out there." I'm like, "No, we're not. I'm going to be obscure. I'm going to slide back into the shadows." Right? She goes, "No, you're not." She said, "You're the face of your business. You're the one it's built on your ideals and your belief systems and everything. And it has to be front and center." And I'm like, "Won't that be egotistical?" And she's like, "Absolutely not. It builds trust and rapport, and people that want to work with you are going to be attracted to that." And she was really dead on correct.
Exactly. Well, lucky for you guys, right? Those of you who are worried about this too, there is a simple checklist of questions that
we're the king and queen checklist.
We are the king and queen of it. You should the checklist of questions you should ask yourself that will determine whether your brand is headed in the direction of self-serving or service to others. Big difference.
Yeah. Number one, are you calling out to the people you're actually wanting to help? Okay. If you're not, it may seem like you're preaching. But if you know who your ideal customer is, which is unbelievably important, then your brand's going to reflect that. And it's obvious that you are actually speaking to the person that you want to be speaking to. And that's very important because that's what the attractor factor is.
Exactly. So here's an example. Let's use us for an example. We specifically help people like us. Michael's in the real estate business, and as a result, we help a lot of real estate professionals. Mm-hmm. Also, the two of us are both coaches, speakers, authors, and podcasters, which, a lot of times are, in one group because a lot of those people do all of those things. So that's the other industry that we help. So as you can see, it brings a lot of credibility because we do those things.
Mm-hmm. And when people know that we specialize in those two areas, it helps us gain that credibility to them because we are in those two areas every day of our life. And we've built personal brands for ourselves in those spaces. So it's easy to be the authority because that's what we do. And the expertise is there because that's what we have been doing for decades. And that trust and rapport is a lot different. It's not egotistical to put our face on everything. It's building trust and rapport.
Exactly. And if we couldn't articulate that, who we had the ability to help, well, our clients, they'd never really feel like they landed in the right place.
Right.
And as a result, the brand literally would be more about us than about the people that we help.
And people pick up on that faster than you think. And we're going to get into how to stop that. Because that can be a phenomenon too.
It sure can.
People not saying, "Well, really and truly, what are they saying?" See, the second thing is, are you telling your clients exactly how you want to help them, how you can help them? Are you articulating that correctly? Because when you can, it takes you from being a showman and being just a person with a pretty face on a billboard to actually true professionalism, which is what personal branding is all about. For example, we are also known, if you've listened to any of our episodes, more than one, then you know that we are known for sharing simple formulas that work, that help people understand what it takes to build a very strong personal brand. Like the 3D formula. If you've listened to us for a minute, you know the 3D. Our HEAP code, trademarked for how to find your ideal customer and dial in that messaging.
In other words, we simplify the process. That's what we're known for. We don't just talk about the fluff. We actually give you the formula to get it done, to make that brand building journey for you as simple and as authentic as possible.
Yeah, keep listening to this, and you're going to see us do this again, because there's a resounding theme in every one of our lives and our podcasts. You're going to get another list. It's coming up. Number 3, your photos done with a mission in mind? Okay. If not, then you're probably just an attractive person in an attractive photo. But if you consider who it is that you're trying to attract and what you want them to know and feel about you, the photos of you become purposeful. They're not just a pretty face. They actually have a purpose.
Yeah. And this is really important, because 2 of the very first things that a lot of people want to do is like, oh, I'm going to go build my brand. First of all, I got to have a logo. Second of all, I've got to have some really good photos taken. But they don't think about what they want those photos to portray.
That's
right?
So important.
And as we like to say, a brand is much more than the 3 amigos, a photo, a logo, and a tagline. Okay. So here's an example. Consider your wardrobe when you have your photos done. Of course, aside from making sure that your wardrobe coordinates with your brand colors, you got to think about things like this. Okay. One of our clients is a veterinarian. She was a practicing veterinarian for 8 years, left the practice to become an international speaker who talks about the common sense care of animals. And we branded her to help her make that transition. So in part of her photo shoot, she wore her lab coat, which gave her the credibility and let people know what she does and put her in that context, right? In some of the other photos, she dressed for the stage, like as a speaker, right? And she also had some animals in her photo shoot as well. So bringing more of that context of who she is and what she does into her brand.
Another example is we have a voiceover artist that's one of our clients. She's also a coach, right? And so we used microphones. We used her sound booth photos, earphones on, things like that actually speak to the fact that she has this expertise in the voiceover industry.
Okay. All right. Now, number 4, are you living your brand every day?
That's my favorite one.
It's my favorite too, actually, I think. In other words, are you consistent with it? And if you've listened to Michael at all, you'll know consistency is what he's all about, right? If not, people will see you as a flash in the pan, right? Somebody who's just trying to gain attention for attention's sake, but not somebody who's committed to it, right? So you want them to see you as someone who's serious about your craft. And when you're consistent, they'll not only view you more seriously, they'll remember who you help, how you help them, and why you help them.
Yeah, this is my favorite because it blows my mind, the people that build the brand out and then use it a little bit here and they use it a little bit there and they use it a little bit there. That's not how you do it. You have to put it everywhere. Like my staff is constantly thinking about where to put our consistent message, a new place to put it. How can we put it out there? But it is always the same brand, same message. And it only goes to the places that our ideal customer is at the end of. But we're constantly reinventing a new place to go. But it is consistent every time. I learned it from her. It transformed my business. I've been a 30-year entrepreneur. I've known her for 9 years, going on 10 now. When I hired her company and she taught me this, then it transformed everything we had done the prior 20 years. And that is why I have marketing that works now, right? One of my best examples of this, and I wish that we could say we actually did the branding on this, but we did not. And it's so fascinating, though. Being in the car business, growing up in the car business like I did, my dad was in that business. And being a car auctioneer, I know a lot of people that own dealerships. And I have a friend, he owns a dealership. It's either the number 1 or number 2 top selling Toyota dealership in the state of Georgia every month over month. He has a salesman who is always his number 1 or number 2 salesman month over month. And he is the best dressed salesman. That's his brand. He come up with that. I don't even think he puts his name on his card because he doesn't have to. It says, look for the best dressed salesman. Ask for the best dressed salesman. Everything that he does. And he literally is that best dressed salesman, right? I doubt he even owns a pair of flip-flops. When you go, even in July, when you go into that lobby or you look out on that lot, you're going to see a dude with a 3-piece suit on, a dapper hat, and a shiny pair of shoes. Year round, 365 days a year. He lives it. He breathes it. That's who he is. And guess what? He gets to tell everybody, just ask for the best dressed salesman. Well, what's your name? You don't need it. Just ask for the best dressed salesman. And, it's really challenging of that. And it sticks in people's mind. And I no doubt is half of the reason, if not more, why he is the number one on the leaderboard month over month over month over month over month. He lives it consistently.
Yeah, he does. Okay, so let's recap these, okay? So if you want to build a brand and you're concerned that it's going to be egotistical, it's going to make you look like a narcissist, okay, we understand that, right? Because
you're wrong.
Yeah, you're wrong. Because what we tell people is that, you want to make sure that you build a brand that doesn't say, look at me, look at me. Mm-mm. It says, look at what I can do for you.
Yep, very big.
That has depth to it, okay? So the questions that you need to ask yourself to make sure you're headed in the right direction of building a brand that is in service to others. Question number 1, are you calling out who you're actually helping?
Yep. Number 2, are you telling them exactly how you can help them?
Number 3, are your photos done with your mission in mind?
And number 4, are you living your brand consistently day in, day out, every day?
Exactly. All right. So there are a lot of other things that help you to achieve a credible and reputable brand. But those are 4 questions, because if you can't get past those 4, you are definitely not headed in the right direction. Begin there. Okay. And the rest really will take care of itself if you have those things dialed in.
Yep. Start right, stay right.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, listen, we bring value like this all the time. Please hit that subscribe button. Please hit the notification button so you are notified when we put out another episode. We want to bring you this value every day in our podcast, Be Bold Branding Podcast, in our lives. We are always seeking to give you the tools that you need to build the perfect brand, because we know that it works, right? We're living proof that it works individually and corporately. We have built thousands of them. They all work if you use them. So hit that subscribe button. We do this for prosperity, guys. We teach it, we preach it, we live it every day. It's not just about money when we talk about prosperity. We talk about a 360 of the abundant life we truly wish for every one of y'all. And we know at BrandFace that prosperity favors the bold. So we say, be bold, folks, especially with your brand, especially in the rest of 2022. Plenty of year left to make all kind of money in whatever industry that you're in. So stay strong in it. Be bold about it. And thank you, Ms. Tanya.
Thank you. We'll see you next time, guys. Have a great and bold day.
Brought to you by BrandFace, the only comprehensive personal brand building system across the globe.